Hey everyone, so it's promotional time, and I just wanted to try to make a video to show one what I did to kind of help, and then also on the other side of it, we can kind of go over um, my thoughts or on doing your tactical problem. So a couple things you are recording yourself, so I think the best training one is recording yourself. But also you need to have someone critique you, and you want them to be hard on you. You don't want like, hey, good job. You want them to be hard on you. What do you miss? So recording yourself is great, and if you don't have anyone to critique you, that's one way. But the best thing you can do is get with somebody and have them critique you. So you want to sit in a way where you don't want to be like this, all right? This, this, you want to have what they call command presence. So straight back, but you want to be comfortable, right? So you want to look like and sound like you know what you're doing. So before we get into a lot of that stuff, I'm just going to run through most of this. I'm going to read it off because I don't remember all of it, but it's not hard to memorize. It's really not. You will definitely be able to memorize it within 2 or 3 days easily, and we can talk about tricks on how to memorize things as well, or at least how to memorize your tactical problem. So I'm just going to go through my tactical problem, and we'll talk about it a little bit on the other side. Always feel free to call me and help as much as you can. My name is Chaz Moore. I will be in command of this emergency incident. I'm confident in my abilities, my training, and my experience that I will manage this scenario effectively. Upon the alarm, my thoughts and actions are as follows. I am thinking about the day of the week, the time of day, and the weather conditions. I am making sure that the station is secure before leaving. I am reviewing the rip and run and confirming the address and the type of incident. I'm also checking the radio channel, making sure that myself and my highly trained crew are fully dressed with the appropriate PPE before entering their apparatus. Entering the apparatus, I'm confirming my driver knows the destination. I'm confident in my driver's ability to navigate our territory. We have spent extensive time training. All the members of our crew are familiar with our territory's infrastructure, where our railroad crossings, where our school zones, multiple speed bumps. I'm confident that we will respond in the quickest and safest route. When all members of the crew are in the apparatus and seatbelted, the driver will release the air brake. I'm hitting the en route button, and I'm verbalizing en route on headquarters dispatch channel. On review of the MDT, I am confirming that we are the first in unit. I am confirming the TAC channel and that all units are responding on the appropriate radio channel. I am listening and requesting updates from headquarters. I'm asking about, has there been multiple calls? Are there any victims inside? Is evacuation in progress? Has the alarm company been notified? Headquarters will also have dispatched EMS and law enforcement. En route, I have located a primary and secondary water supply in the hydrant book, and I can confirm this with the MDT. I am also looking at the horizon. I'm seeing if there's any signs of smoke, any ash. I may have my windows slightly cracked so I can get an odor if there's any fire. Arriving first on scene, we have taken a route that has given us a three-sided look at the building, pulling slightly past the structure, leaving room for incoming units. I am looking for victims, I'm looking for flames, and I'm reading the smoke. I'm reading the smoke for the color, the velocity, the volume, and the density, determining the building type, the occupancy, and the dimensions of the structure. As a first in unit, my initial responsibility is to establish command. I will evaluate 360 degrees of structure. Upon completion, I will give my 5-point size up on the radio channel that will include the proper address, describing the nature and the conditions and location of the fire. As the incident commander, I must establish incident priorities. These priorities will allow me to create strategies and tactics to stabilize the incident safely, quickly, and effectively. My first tactical priority is always life safety of myself, my crew, and civilians, prioritizing those civilians that are closest to the fire or the hazard. My second is property conservation. Will this be an offensive or defensive strategy? I'm going to limit the additional damage to the structure, personal belongings, preserving evidence, and decreasing the economic and emotional loss to the resident. With properly placed hose lines, always attacking from the unburned side to the burned side, while limiting the amount of unnecessary water damage to the structure. My third is contaminate and exposures. Confining the fire to the initial structure and limiting environmental damage, smoke, and water runoff. My exposures are potentially lateral and vertical. They will be prioritized by their proximity and their hazard. On the radio, I will give a size up and the assignments to the incoming units. Engine 13 will assume command at 16 Heritage Green. We have a 2-story wood frame structure approximately 20 by 30. Engine 13 is laid in wet from a sustainable, reliable hydrant located at Heritage Green Drive and 20th Street. We have heavy, fast-moving, thick black smoke coming from the 2nd-story window. I'm marking this a working fire. We are laying in wet, entering Division 1, Part 3 for fire attack. Officer 13 is in command. Once I relay on the working fire on the TAC channel, headquarters automatically dispatch the division chief, the air truck, the safety officer, and fire investigator. They will also notify the Red Cross and public utilities to assist with utility control. I will inform headquarters that law enforcement should create a perimeter that's 4 blocks away, helping to secure the scene and traffic control. I will also request a subject matter expert and the property owner. During my 360, I am looking for hazards. I am looking for victims. I'm looking for a secondary means of egress, and I'm doing my risk versus reward. My driver has established accountability and has put the truck into pump gear. My nozzle firefighter has pulled a 2-inch pre-connected to TAC line to the front door and has checked the front door for victims. This is done in our offensive attack. This firefighter also must make sure to control the entrance, not allowing unnecessary oxygen into the structure that could intensify the fire. The backup firefighter will charge a large diameter hose line with communication to the driver and join the nozzle firefighter in Division A. The firefighter will also assist with forced entry if it has not been completed. I will inform incoming units of any FTC over the channel, and I will give them their assignments. Second due engine and the driver will prepare for boosting operations, while the rest of the crew will pull an equal or a greater size attack line to Division 2. Third due engine will establish RIT with personnel, tools, and a cache of tools. The commanding officer will take over accountability. One person from RIT should be monitoring the emergency channel. The 4th engine will position in the Charlie Division. They will secure a secondary water supply. The commanding officer for Division C will be the Division C supervisor. Inside, units will communicate to the Charlie Division to ensure they do not have any opposing streams. The first in ladder unit will place the apparatus on the AB corner of the building, preparing for defensive operations. They will also be responsible for primary search of the building, starting with the fire floor. The officer will be the search group's supervisor. Incoming units on the same division will be search teams. The second ladder will position themselves on the CD corner. Their responsibilities will be utilities, laddering the building for egress, ventilation, and they will be the vent group. Both ladders are placed on the corner to limit the damage from potential building collapse. Rescue on arrival, I will give them the task of performing the secondary search. Every 20 minutes, headquarters will prompt for a PAR of all fire units. Upgrade requests will be made and I will make an upgrade request to a second alarm and any subsequent alarms. We will get 3 engines, 2 ladders, and a battalion chief. The first in engine will be the staging. The driver will be staging officer. Staging will be 2 blocks uphill and upwind. Once in offensive mode, I will radio any change in division along with the PAR. Once marking on the channel the fire is under control, we will begin termination of our scene. This will start with a gross decon of all units while still wearing PPE. The units afterwards will remove PPE and use baby wipes to clean off skin. This will minimize their exposure to carcinogens. Fire investigators will don appropriate PPE and closed-circuit rebreathers to conduct investigations as the cause of the nature of the fire. After the investigation, electric fans will be placed in Division A for 5 minutes before re-entry. Crews will monitor the atmosphere. Salvage and overhaul can start and will continue, and the air quality will be continuously monitored. During salvage and overhaul operations, we will talk. They will be after we have talked with the fire investigator, with crews wearing PPE and SCBA. Salvage and overhaul is important. We have to find hidden fire and extinguish any hot spots. Salvage and overhaul units will not be conducted by the initial units during fire attack. Crews may be requested by the property owner to get certain valuables for the occupants. They will do that when it's safe to do so. As I stated earlier, I've requested the Red Cross and the property owner and I will have a conversation. I will inform them of the conditions and I will get them linked up with the Red Cross. Information that they will need from such a tragic incident. The building will be marked unsafe. The property is turned back over to the building owner. I will conduct an initial conversation with my crew and the safety officer and any on-scene injuries and personnel. With the information I have received from the investigator, I will also inform the PIO, the battalion chief, and I will give a summary of the incident. Also wondering and to see if there's any injuries for any firefighters. I will inform the battalion chief of all the tasks I have completed, and we will conduct a hot wash meeting outside of the structure. That will talk about lessons learned and what went well. I will also remind all units that have entered the structure to remain out of service until they are showered and in a state of readiness. This will also help with decontamination, reduce the risk of carcinogens. Dirty turnout gear will be placed in the wash per manufacturer specs, and the second line gear will be put in service. After the hot wash, I will radio transfer command to the highest ranking officer on scene. Once back at the station, I will also talk with each of my personnel in private to ask about mental health, since they have just been involved in a high stress situation. These conversations will be voluntary. Also, all crews will have their own debrief where I can hear from everyone about the lessons learned, what we did well. I am confident in my abilities and my knowledge and the City of Raleigh's policies and procedures that the tactics and actions that I have laid out, I believe I have successfully mitigated this fire with no injuries to firefighter civilians. Thank you. All right, so we will talk about it on the other end. I'll make another video. If you need help, I'm here for you. So just a couple quick things. It sounds a lot. It really does, but it's not. You do have to remember all of that, but I remember it in the way of like a song. So the first part of the song is the call comes in, what happens? All right. Call comes in, what happens? All right. Call comes in. Okay. Rip and run goes off. So the first thing I say is I introduce myself, but the call comes in and I just say what I'm thinking and I'm doing. It's important to say what you're thinking and doing, not just what you're doing. And that's kind of the hard part. You have to tell people, what are you thinking? So you are always thinking about what time of day it is. It sounds silly to say it, but you have to, because if you go to a school at 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday, there's probably not going to be any kids there. But if you go at maybe 7 in the morning on a Tuesday, you could have children there. And so you are thinking about the time of the day. You are thinking about what type of structure is it. You know, it's different when it bangs out. Is it Walmart on fire or is it a house fire? So it sounds silly that you have to say it, but you have to paint the picture. You have to paint the picture. So call comes in. I'm thinking about the time of the day of the week. I'm thinking about the incident type and the location. Yeah, I am thinking about that. So we all are. I just got to say it. Everything you say is points. Everything you don't say, someone else is gaining points. Really, it's not that hard to memorize it all, because you memorize it in a step, you memorize it in a song. So I go through everything that I memorized before I leave the station, and then I go into, all right, I'm arriving on scene. I go through all of those things. So when I arrive on scene, I do my 360. I'm looking at the smoke, I'm reading the smoke, right? Go through all of that, and then I'm talking about my fire attack and assigning units. You'll have to get that from policy, what you want those units to do, but that's easy. You already know that part. You already know what the units are supposed to be doing. You just got to rattle it off. Hey, what's the first in ladder doing? All right, you know that. All right, what's the third in engine doing? You know that. So just rattle it off, right? You got to go through it. Then once the fire is out, I'm going through that part. All right, decon, talking to the division chief, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I can definitely, I'm definitely here for you. If you want any help, let me know. Don't do what I just did there, where do a lot of ums. You don't get graded down for it, but it doesn't help you. It actually says on there, limit your ahs and ums, right? So you want to be clear. You want your tempo to be not too fast. You don't want to be like Twista or Bone Thugs and Harmony, just spitting it out. That's why it's important to practice videoing yourself, and to practice with another person and timing yourself. So just let me know if you want any help. I'm here for you guys. Good luck on your exam.